In today's video, I'm going to be covering 8 hidden risks that can cost you thousands. While a lot of these items would come up during the home inspection, spotting them early saves you time, money, and stress. Negotiating before the offer is accepted is much easier than negotiating later. With just a little bit of knowledge, you can avoid costly surprises and increase the chance of securing your dream home. Let's dive in. First up, we have underground oil tanks. These old tanks were used for heating oil and were commonly used in homes built before the 1970s. They can be environmental hazards if leaking, and the soil contamination can cost tens of thousands of dollars to clean up. When viewing older homes, make sure to ask if the home's ever used heating oil, look for filler or vent pipes around the yard, and make sure to request any documentation for tank removals or decommissioning. If you have any suspicions, consider having a tank specialist come in and do a scan before you commit. It's better to spend a little bit up front than a lot later on. Next up, we have the roof. Replacing the roof is one of the most expensive repairs that a homeowner can face, so make sure you take a look during your showing. Look for curled or missing shingles, sagging areas, and moss growth. Most roofs last between 20 to 30 years, and by knowing the age of the roof, you can get a good estimate on when it might need replacing. When you're inside, make sure to take a look at the ceiling for any water stains, which could indicate a leak. Leaks in the roof can quickly lead to more expensive water damage if not addressed. Next up, we have poly B piping. Poly B was commonly used in homes built between the late 70s to the mid 90s, but is now known for being prone to failure. Look for gray pipes stamped with PB2110 in basements or under sinks. Many insurance providers will charge higher premiums or will refuse coverage altogether due to the risk of leaks. I have seen situations where the premiums are so high that the cost to insure a home for a year is almost equivalent to just replacing the plumbing. So if Poly B is found, make sure you have a plumber come through and give a quote for replacement costs. Next up, we have aging furnaces and hot water tanks. Often you can see the installation date right on the unit, but if you can't, make sure that you ask the seller if they know the age. Furnaces typically last between 15 to 30 years, depending on the efficiency and the maintenance. Hot water tanks, on the other hand, are more in the 8 to 12-year range. While this one might seem obvious, it can be hard to renegotiate on something that could be discovered during the walkthrough, so make sure you check. Next, we have electrical issues. Homes built between the 60s and 70s might have aluminum wiring, which can cause a fire hazard due to overheating at the connections. Check for exposed wires in unfinished areas like basements or in the electrical panel. Aluminum wiring is silver in color and may require upgrades. Make sure you check the panel to ensure that it has enough amperage, at least 100 amps, and if the home has a suite, then 200 is recommended. If you have to upgrade the panel from 100 to 200, that can run you between $8,000 to $12,000. Next up, we have DIY updates. This one can be a little bit tricky as some of the more serious issues could be hidden. Look for improperly laid flooring, gaps in trim, and misaligned fixtures. If you see any of these things, make sure you ask the seller for a detailed list of any updates that have been made, and make sure that you ask if any changes have been made to the plumbing or electrical systems. Next up, we have structural issues. Structural issues are serious as they can affect the safety and longevity of the home. Small hairline cracks are common, but large horizontal cracks or any cracks with displacement are major red flags. Look for uneven floors or doors and windows that stick when you try to open them, as this can indicate structural shifting. If you do notice this, it might be better to just walk away, but if you have your heart set on the home, make sure that you get a structural engineer assessment. Foundation issues can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Moving on to water damage. Water damage is another sneaky one as it often hides behind walls and can lead to mold and rot. Look for yellowish brown stains on ceilings, walls, bubbling paint, peeling wallpaper, and warped flooring. A musky smell, particularly in the basement, is also a giveaway. And beware of homes that use lots of air fresheners as they may be trying to cover up the smell. I am also going to throw in one bonus hazard, which is asbestos. Asbestos was commonly used before the 1980s for things like insulation, flooring, ceiling tiles, and textured paints. While it's not always an issue if left undisturbed, airborne asbestos can cause serious health issues. I made this a bonus tip because asbestos isn't really something that you can just identify by looking at. However, knowing the years that it was used is the first step. If you plan on doing major renovations to the property, it might be worth getting an asbestos test done, as it can be very expensive to dispose of correctly. That's all we have for today. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below or reach out to me directly. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, do me a favor and give the video a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel for more real estate related advice. I appreciate you taking the time, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.